They say we don't talk about Bruno, but today we're doing the exact opposite. On this episode of the Mas Futbol Podcast, I sit down with Bruno Da Silva, Oklahoma's very own Brazilian goalkeeper and coach. From the pitch of Southwestern Christian to Certified Lions, SNU, and WSA, Bruno is making his mark all over the state. And Piedmont. We can't forget to talk about Piedmont. We talk about his journey from Brazil to Oklahoma City, to his experience in the goal, and how he is helping shape the future of soccer here in Oklahoma. Oh, and Certified Lions is headed to the TST 7v7 $1 million tournament. So yeah, there's a lot to talk about. But let's get started. Bruno, my friend, how are you today?
Amazing. First of all, thank you for having me on up here. Really looking forward for it. Has a long time we have been on those conversations about it. I'm looking forward for it. So appreciate your opportunity up here.
Thank you, man. A lot has changed since we have started, those conversations. I think you went and had a kid. Congratulations.
Yes, thank you.
But we'll touch on all of that here pretty soon. Let's get started with how soccer or football started for you. Can you tell me where that passion started from?
Amazing. I think as any other Brazilian, it started off very early for us. On early ages, we played futsal a lot back home, so that's where I came from. Played a lot of futsal back home. And of course, as many of other Brazilians, I did not make to the professional. I played some semi-professional back in Brazil, but never professionally. So it gets to a point where you got to make that decision. Are you going to try live off there, or are you going to go to the other roads, like study, for example? Mm-hmm. So I decided to go study and get a job and start off my life. And then...
What part of Brazil?
All the way south, Porto Alegre.
Porto Alegre, okay.
So... I got to a point where I wasn't happy.
Mm-hmm.
My wife wasn't happy as well, or married at that point. And we decided, well, you know what? Let's look for a big change in our lives. And there comes America. And then that's how I ended up. I first came to junior college. Mm-hmm. So I played at Cloud County Community College for a year. And then...
Before you got there, you played, stopped playing, started working.
Correct.
And then found out that you needed to find soccer again.
Exactly. I'm just a lover of the game, and I just couldn't stay away of it.
Of course. I mean, this is me doing the same thing that you just said there. I always find it interesting, the process of finding a team, like scouting foreign players to get to the U.S. Everyone has a different story. But how did you start that process? Did you find recruiters? Did you have videos of yourself? Or?
Yes. So I had a few friends who played at college at that time, and one of them were at Cloud County Community College. Mm-hmm. So we started talking about it, and the coach was American, but he lived in Brazil for a long time at that point, so he speaks Portuguese really well. So that's why I decided to come, because I had zero English. Mm. So my first year at Cloud Community College was just learn the language and playing soccer, of course. Mm. And then after that, was when I moved to SCU and played there for a year as well.
Yeah, well, your English is pretty good, my friend.
I appreciate that, man. It's still a long way to work, but we work on it every day.
Nice. How was your first year in that community college?
Crazy.
What state was it in?
It's Kansas. It's a very, very small city called Concordia. It's about 2 hours and a half from Kansas City, or 2 hours and a half from Wichita as well. So it was crazy. I remember my first few classes, I had no idea what's going on. I couldn't understand a single word. So I dropped off all my classes and just took English classes for the first year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then I would say it was the best thing I ever done, because if I would try to keep going with those classes, I would not make it. You know?
Definitely. I mean, it's hard enough for people that have spoke English their whole life to take college courses. Imagine coming plugged in from Brazil and trying to hit it like that. At any point, did you think maybe you didn't make the right decision, or did you feel like you were on the right track?
I never thought about, okay, let's forget all this and let's go back to Brazil. I think it's part of my position as goalkeepers. We are always on that tough situation. So when those tough situation comes, you're just looking for solutions. Like, okay, that's the problem now. How can I find a solution? What is the best solution for it? And at that point, the best solution for me is just like, I got to learn English, and especially in the junior college where we had a bunch of Brazilians out there, I had to stay away of them, because of course if you stay with Brazilians, you're only going to be speaking Portuguese, and then the language is not gonna work out. You're not gonna learn a new language, So that was one of my toughest decisions. Say, okay, guys, I love you all, but I'm gonna stay with more of the people who speaks English, not necessarily Americans or England people, like British people or whatever. I was just like, I just want to speak English as much as I can.
Yeah, you seem, I guess, like the type that isn't afraid to get out of your comfort zone then.
I'm not.
That's crazy. And then you came by yourself, or did your significant other follow behind?
My wife came with me.
Oh, wow.
We married for about 10 years right now.
Oh, congrats. Let me give you one of these. Well deserved. Hold on.
I appreciate it.
It's not hard. It's not easy. It's not easy.
Yeah. It's, one of my best decisions, again, get married. We got married very early. And we just now having our first kid, which is a blast, loving every single minute with it. But we have been planning it for a long time and just enjoying this part right now. It's a different phase of my life right now, and it's amazing.
How, boy or girl?
It's a girl. Just turned 5 months.
5 months, man. I have a 9-month girl, and girls, I mean, you probably know if you're coaching, girls are different than boys.
Oh, completely.
But raising a girl is just different than raising a boy too. That's your baby girl. That's the girl and dad. That's the deep connection. So there's nothing more beautiful than that.
Yeah, a fun story out there. We are so sure that there would be a boy that we didn't have a name for a girl.
No way.
And then when we did the gender reveal, I was like, oh, it's a girl. I was like, oh my God. Yeah, what do we do now?
Yeah. What name did you end up going with?
Evelyn Grace.
Evelyn Grace. That's a beautiful name. Beautiful name.
It was a hard task for us because we want a name that would be like, it sound well in English, but would also sound well in Portuguese. So we had to do a lot of research out there, and then we found a name that we really like it, and that's Evelyn.
Yeah, people don't realize how hard it is to make a name. Like, you think that it'd be easy. You get a lot of suggestions, and it seems like the more suggestions you get, the ones that you get suggested, you're just like, nah. Or I used to like that one, but then you told me about it. Yeah. And for my most recent daughter that was born, we didn't have a name until 2 days after she was born. We just didn't know what to pick. Nothing felt right, and then we just decided Antonella Leonora was an okay name. So beautiful. So yeah.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you, man. Thank you. It's the third one. So
there we go.
The first one is we're gonna figure this out. We don't know what we're doing, but we're gonna figure this out.
That's exactly what I am right now. Every day is a new learning, man.
Yeah, I mean, but I guess you get confidence in thinking about that. No one knows what they're doing when they become a parent the first time. Everyone is there. And then, the second one, if there ever is one, comes around. And for me, I was just like, survive. My son is 1.5. My daughter's new. And now the third one, I more or less kind of feel like a pro. You know what I mean? Oh, the baby's rubbing her eyes. She's sleepy. She's hungry. She needs to eat. So it's...
Yeah, you get that on the way, right? I remember one question that a lot of people ask, like, are you ready? I've said, like, I'm a very transparent guy. I try to be as much as I can. And they would ask me, are you ready? I've said, no, I'm not. Can you ever get ready for it? Right. But at the end of the day, it's not as hard as it sounds. And again, it's a blessing. We're enjoying every single moment of it. And we are planning the second one. So hopefully... soon we have new news. We'll see,
right? We'll see. God's plan. From your transition from your community college to SCU, was that something that you had planned, or how did that opportunity come up?
So when we are at Cloud County Community College, we start hearing a few things about the program that was not doing well, and we did not like the city at all, both myself and my wife as well. So we decided, okay, let's look for other options soon, And after the first semester, we started looking for other schools. And one thing that we had a goal was we want to go to a big city. So we started reaching out to other coaches, sending highlight videos, stats, and all that kind of stuff. And then start getting some offers, some opportunities. And then SCU seems to be like a really nice place in a big city with a lot of soccer going on, My goal was always to come to America to be a coach and not a player. So the player was just, playing college level was just like a pathway to it. And then we found SCU, we drove up here, we talked with Adam K at that point, amazing coach, one of the best ones I had. And then we really like it, we really like everything up here. And few months later, we moving up here.
That's crazy. Oklahoma City is definitely a big city, but it feels like a small city at the same time.
Correct. And that's what I love about it, because both my wife and I, we come from small cities or small towns back in Brazil, and then moving up here, we ended up moving to a even smaller town. Concordia is like 5,000 people out there, so that's nothing besides corn and cows out there. So, and then we came to Oklahoma. I was like, okay, it's not that big city vibes, but it's still a big city.
We still have the corn and the cows, but we got the city to go with it.
Yeah, and we have a little bit of winds now as well.
Yeah. And so you came in, if I remember reading correctly, 2020, season of 2020.
Correct. The COVID season.
Yeah. How was that?
Actually, I like it. We played fall and spring.
They divided the season.
Yeah, exactly. So that was a very positive point for the college soccer. We had a full year commitment, let's say, because we know how hard it is to keep players motivated through the spring season, where you are actually not competing for much. And that year was the full year of soccer. So we train every single day. Most of the days we training 3 times a day. Again, Adam, one of the best coaches I had, a little bit crazy on the training side of things.
Really?
So I learned a lot with him, so we would train a lot. And it paid off. SU won the SAC that year for the first time and only on the school history. So very blessed to be part of that group.
Dang, Adam. I remember speaking to Adam, and I kind of got that vibe that he might have been kind of, particular with his way he does his things, but it obviously is paying off. Look
100%.
at where he is now. You think he's in Louisiana?
He is.
That's
and
crazy.
He's killing out there either.
Yeah, he's, good coaches, they're hard to come by sometimes.
Yep, 100%.
Would you prefer it to be a year-long season over?
100%.
Think so?
No doubt about it. I think that would give more motivation for the boys and for the coaches as well. Spring season is hard because you don't see that competition or that trophy on the line, and it's just hard to keep everyone engaged to it. And playing a year round, knowing that you're going to have those games on spring, you know that everyone must be in shape, must be ready, and then our trainings are going to be focused to it, and that game feeling is prepared, and not just a scrimmage, whatever, So I would love to be a full year cycle.
Yeah, right. It would imitate what professionals do, and, it puts a lot on the players. Are you going to stay fit during the Christmas break? Are you going to let off the gas in the spring, And the ones that excel are the ones that are doing the things like they're supposed to. 100%. You did how many years at SCU?
I did 1 year at SCU, and then at that same year, I got a job in Piedmont with a goalkeeper coach. And once again, my main goal was to be a coach. So at the end of the season, I had to make that decision. Am I going to keep playing or am I going to go coach? Because the trainings are at the same time. So I had to make that tough decision. And at that point, I had 26 years old. So I was like, yeah, soccer is not going to take me on the college level. It's not going to take me too further than what I'm playing right now. So yes, my goal was always to be a coach. So let's go full into it. So I just stopped playing, and then I started like coaching at Piedmont, and here we are.
Here we are now. So you sounds like you still have some years of eligibility under you. You could still play if you wanted to, maybe 1 or 2 years?
I could. I don't think I could actually, because now with all the rules about the semesters that you take, that would probably run my eligibility out. But playing-wise, yes, I could.
Nice.
So then, SNU, as soon as I got the job out there, and this past year, jumping in goal here and there when we need. Players always joke, coach sometimes jokes like, "Hey, do you still want to play?" I said, "No, I'm good."
Well, that's commendable on your part. A lot of people, me personally, would have probably been on the fence. I always think I can play, and when I'm coaching the little kids, it's hard for me not to just be like, just to show off a little bit. But, you seem like you have the end in mind, You always have, you have to have your end in mind. You have to have that goal so you know how to move correctly, and you haven't strayed from that at all. So, I can see that early into the podcast that you set your goals and, you're not going to let anything kind of stray you from that. So that's very commendable on your part.
Appreciate that. I think that's a big key for everyone. Have your purpose, have your, like you said, your end idea since early is going to give you a direction to follow or a path where you want to go, So I try to be as much as I can planning the future, like, okay, this year, this is the goal. I was like, okay, for not 5 years, what are we gonna be doing in 5 years? You know, what is your ends goal up there? And I work for it every day. That's the key.
Nice. And then now, was that your first entry into coaching? Was that position at Piedmont?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Wow. I mean, I'm sure you've probably done a little bit of coaching here and there, but officially as a job, you took on, was it the high school assistant
Yes.
position?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Ah.
So I stayed with the Piedmont High School for 4 years on the girls' side, on the women's side. Had amazing years up there as an assistant with Brad Brooker, one of my best friends, and I gladly can call him family now, you know. And that was the best years of my life on the coaching side of things. I did some coaching back in Brazil, but nothing serious as we have up here. So I would say my first experience as coach on a professional level, I would say, or more professional setting, it would be like when we started off in Piedmont. Things, we try to do things as much professional as we can, or plan it as we can to take the best of what we have. And I think the past few years, especially this past 4 years in Piedmont with the girls' side, has been amazing. And now Coach Brooker and I, we decide, okay, let's see what's next, and we made that transition to the men's side. So he's now the men's head coach, and he's killing out there. And I made playoffs on, I think it was for the first time
Really?
on 6A. So it's huge for the school.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm helping on the middle school side. So very blessed for that opportunity too.
So you do the women's now by yourself as the head coach, or you're just still his assistant as on the boys' side?
I just doing the middle school
Just
as a
middle
head
school
coach,
now, okay.
Middle school boys, yes, and I help on high school here and there.
Well, that's crazy. I mean, from when you started helping with Piedmont to where they are now, I didn't mention it in the intro, but you guys even won a state championship as well against, was it?
Correct.
Did you play in the final?
We played against Bishop McGuinness.
Bishop McGuinness in the final. That was the year that you guys played 3 times. I remember
Correct.
that. And if I'm not mistaken, you guys won the first one. They won the first one. You guys won the second one. And then the one that mattered went to Piedmont.
I'll tell you, I'm there for 4 years, and I remember playing Bishop McGuinness multiple times. I think the only time we won was the state final.
No way.
Yes, we had some close matches every time, but we never able to pull that one. So on my second year, we went to the state championship game against Bishop McGuinness.
That's right, the year before that.
Yep, and we lost. I remember tough the stadium was crazy that day, and we lost on a free kick from 40 yards out. Just amazing shots that not much our keeper could do. And then
From 40 yards out.
Yeah, that was just a knuckleball. The ball was traveling
with
like
the wind
crazy.
behind it. Nah.
Yeah, and some lights in the eyes, and my keeper was like, where is this freaking ball? And ended up in the back of the net. So congratulations for Coach Call, amazing coach out there. And then the year after, we faced each other multiple times during the season, and then we faced each other again on the state final. And double overtime with 3 minutes left on the clock, we pulled the win. So that was amazing. So for a huge for Piedmont community and everyone that was part of that program, you know.
Yeah, that dude here for everyone.
Yeah.
That was huge.
That was huge.
I was thinking back as you were telling me, since I run the Football Factory pages, that year I specifically remember how big that rivalry was. I mean, I'm not there physically, but seeing it behind the lens of Football Factory, I can tell that there was a rivalry between Bishop and Piedmont that had carried over from the year before. And being in the same district didn't make it easier either.
Yep.
And you're just watching them go, and it's like, who's going to be Piedmont or Bishop? And that basically was the storyline of the whole year that year, is who's going to come out top for it to come in the finals. Yeah. Did you do anything differently going into that state finals coming from the previous year? Because a lot of players are carrying that loss from the year before into this one. Do you think that may have been the difference maker, or what's the feeling like?
100%.
Tell me about it.
One of that's for sure the drive that we had behind of it, because of the rivalry that we had against them, and especially lost the state title on the year before, you know. And the year before, we also had a lot of injuries on the team. So the second year that we went to the state final with them, we had a better depth on our team, and such a great, talented group of girls. And at the end of the day, I think the drive that they had to beat McGuinness on that final was the difference maker, you know.
How was it carrying the trophy?
Dude, I have a memory on my head that was, we driving back to Piedmont, I think it was 2 a.m. It was pouring water like crazy outside, and then in Piedmont on our main road, they have a lot of parents on the side of the road.
Oh no, wait, receiving you guys.
Receiving us back. That was unbelievable. Like fire department escorting us to the fields. That was one of the best memories that I have from here in America. So it was like, again, 2 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah.
Pouring water, and then a bunch of parents on the side of the road. That was amazing.
Dang. To only have been able to coach high school for 4 years and accomplish that is huge.
Huge.
Do you see yourself maybe dabbling into high school again in the future? Or?
Yes. I would love to have done this year as well. But again, on the coaching side, you have to make those tough decisions. Where are you going to be coaching? And that comes SNU in place. I really love that side of that place as well. And then SNU trainings are the same time as high school trainings. So I had to make a decision which school I would go with. And of course, the college level, especially being on the men's side, was an amazing opportunity that I could let go.
Yeah, you can't.
So I stay with SNU and happy for that decision. And that's why I decided, okay, I never coached middle school soccer before, so let's see how things are going to work out here in middle school now.
Different schedule for them to practice with?
Different schedule. So we practice early in the morning. The games are on spring, later on the day. So I don't have much conflicts with the SNU schedule. And ended up working out amazingly.
Not only that, but then you're also, are you doing the boys or the girls?
Boys.
Boys. You're working hand in hand with the high school coach 100%. Saying, hey, I have these boys, we're working on this. And it helps the high school team because you get to fix problems before they arise to the head coach.
That's the main goal.
I've said this to you before, jokingly, but you got your hands all up in Piedmont soccer community. That's great.
I do. I love that place. Again, it was the place that opened up the doors for me. So I'm very grateful for that place, and I always stick around with Piedmont as much as they want me out there.
That's great. How did your middle school season go?
Amazing. You know, it's crazy. I would say on the men's side, we never give as much value to the middle school soccer as we now look into then. You know, Coach Brooker, again, amazing person and coach. He values a lot development side of things. So that's why he asked me to help out with the middle school. And last year they come from 1 win in the whole season. And this season we have 10 wins and only 2 losses for the whole season. So, and it's a team that's heavy on 8th graders. So those dudes, most likely they were there last year. They didn't have the same organization or drive for it. And we able this year to bring that out of them and change the
start the culture,
set a new culture on it. Character integrity is our first thing. So we had a lot of issues. When the boys get in trouble at classroom, they're going to get in trouble on the field as well. So we have that things very aligned. If they don't achieve a certain amount of grades, they're not going to play. It doesn't matter how good you are. It doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter. You have the standards set since an early age, even before tryouts. If you want to be part of it, that's what you got to do. And it wasn't easy. That's really
hard
tough
decisions to be making.
Yeah,
you know?
Changing culture is not an easy thing to do. So the soccer side of things is the easy part of it. But everything else that you have to manage out of the field and on this player's mind, that is a tough task right there.
Which is honestly the most important part, right? Is. Because I think of myself when I was in middle school, and the only thing that I cared about was soccer.
Yep.
Grades, meh. But when you say you have to have grades to play soccer, well, that changes things. Now I have to make better habits. And who knows, like, through the power of soccer, you're making better human beings, you know?
That's the ultimate goal. That's the ultimate goal right there. You know, we want to make them the best soccer player as possible, but we got to take in consideration that not many of them are going to make pro on soccer. For example, they're not going to make their living out of soccer. So most of them are going to be on other jobs, you know? So how can we form that player as a human being, first of all? And that's the challenge right there. And I think we have been doing all right so far.
Yeah, I mean, the first year is always the hardest, you know? You got to break habits, start culture. But that once that second year, third year
Yep.
goes around,
Yeah,
it'll be.
so I'm very, very excited for this first year. Again, we are able to change the results completely. We still have a lot of to change, like on the field, off the field, and we're gonna keep working for it. So we have one tournament that we're playing right now. It's supposed to be over this past weekend, but with all the rain, it didn't happen on Saturday. But we're playing against Stillwater this upcoming Thursday, and it's gonna be a championship game. So it would be awesome for the boys to finish up the season with hardware, with
for sure.
a trophy. So we'll see how things gonna go, but very, very excited for the group of boys that I have out there.
I'm curious, how does middle school soccer work? Because high school it's obvious, every team in the state plays each other. But if I'm not mistaken, it seems like different middle schools don't play against each other, and they're just not in the same league.
So I actually got that question a lot. Like, oh, do middle school soccer has playoffs and blah, blah, blah.
State championship. And
State
I know some people want
championship.
them. I know Taft says we need to have it for middle school.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's not how that works. All the games for middle school is most likely to be scrimmage games that we just schedule in between schools. A lot of schools, they don't have middle school soccer. Like, big example, Yukon, just won 6-8 district, big school, great program, but they don't have middle school soccer.
It makes no sense to me.
Exactly. So hopefully they do have that on the next few years, because they have the players out there, And we ended up playing against a lot of different schools like Clinton, Choctaw, Stillwater. Sometimes you have to drive a little bit because of those programs. They have middle school programs, So hopefully for the next few years, that's a thing that it's going to change more here in Oklahoma, and schools start valuing middle school soccer, or school soccer, let's say on that way, on an early age. Like Clinton, for example, they have their 6th graders playing on middle school. That's amazing. I would love to do the same in Piedmont if we could, but it's a really hard task, and hopefully it changed for the next few years. The next big schools like Yukon, some Edmond schools, they can have middle school soccer as well.
Do you think it's something that can be achievable? Maybe having a state championship for middle school?
Yeah. I'm not so sure. I defend the idea where middle school is about development, and if you put that on the table,
it
a lot of
culture.
coaches, it's going to change the culture of the game, and a way that some coaches are going to coach, where they're going to be looking too much for the result side of things,
Then the
and the development's going to be aside. Here and there in a game or two, sometimes you have to make those tough decisions where one player doesn't play much to benefit the whole team, giving the best chance to win, and then maybe ended up winning. But I don't think that should be the ultimate goal. I think the ultimate goal should be develop those guys as much as you can, and as soon as they get to high school, okay, now things are going to actually matter, and we're going to go for the big competitions.
It's a very valid point. The fine line between developing and winning.
Yep.
And, we know that in high school, it's kind of just comes down to winning. You don't have much time to develop.
Yeah.
But that supports the idea that you have of why middle school should be.
That's why that middle school is so important. If you want to build a high school winning program, I think one of the keys is to have a middle school program where you're going to focus a lot on the development side of things. So you get those players ready to then compete big for high school,
Yeah. And we'll touch on that, where the fine line between developing and winning comes for you in club. But to wrap up the middle school soccer and the Piedmont school soccer, Piedmont it's in a competitive area. You have the outskirts of Edmonds, and then you have Deer Creek down the street. So
amazing programs.
To be able to compete and do what you guys have been doing in those 4 years that you've been there, it shows the work that you guys have done.
It has been changing a lot, I would say, in these past 4 years. I think we have talent in Piedmont. We have some players that come out from Piedmont and ended up playing. And we have some players ended up playing professionally. Our hardest task is how can we keep them here in Piedmont? And the key to keep those talented players up there is you got to have a competitive program.
Yeah.
So I think we're heading towards that. And again, in 4 years, this is my 5th year out there, things have changed completely. Like from a small town, now Piedmont is a big town compared to Oklahoma. towns, and then the soccer side of things has college. Now we have a bunch of players every year, girls and boys, going to college. So it's changing, it's growing. It's gonna be a big city for soccer, I would say, on that way.
Yeah, it's
here in the next few
definitely
years.
turning into a powerhouse team for both the boys and the girls. How did the SNU opportunity come up? I remember seeing your image come up. Assistant coach. I was like, oh wow, Bruno, dang, I know that guy, of course. Coach is my nephew. How did that come about?
It's crazy how this soccer world works, and I was just helping Mario at Randall University as soon as Mario took over at Randall. So I was very excited. That was my first college experience, So I started off up there. We are about recruiting, and we had like very few players on the team. We had to recruit and build a completely new brand at Randall at that point. And Mario is a great guy, man. He's
shout out to Mario.
What a guy! Hopefully someday we can work together once again. And then all of a sudden, I'm watching a Bethany game in Bethany, a high school game, and I met one of my good friends out there on the stands, and he worked for SNU, played and still working out there, and he said, "Man, do you want to come and be our goalkeeper coach? We're really looking for a goalkeeper coach." And I said, "Dude, I can't. So I just took the job at Randall." Well, what happens next day? I have both coaches calling me. Say, "Hey, we want you up here, so let's have a conversation." And then went up there, had a conversation with the women's coach, and have a conversation with the men's coach. And then my first year, I was the goalkeeper coach for both programs. And I just didn't know how to say no for the opportunity. It was just a great opportunity, So I ended up moving from Randall to up there, and I had a great first year. Like the men's program is amazing. Like it's, again, very professional. Shout out to Trevor Harmon. He's a great coach, great human being, family guy. So he values a lot of things that you don't see up here very often in programs, So it was a big change from my coaching career, I would say, or my coach philosophies. And he sees the game in a different way. And it's hard sometimes to find the players who can play on that style of play. But, dude, it has been working really well. And I think we create a good connection among the coaching staff. And the last 4 years have been very successful out there. They have won conference for the last 4 years, one tournament not this last year, the year before, ended up losing this last year on the final, and made nationals in the past 3 years. So it's been, again, a crazy and amazing experience out there.
Golly, is everything that Bruno touches turning to gold, or what's going on here?
I don't know. I'm very blessed. I feel like I am a competitor, and most of the times I think I have that winner mentality and that winning blood, and then things happen. I don't know. I would call myself a winner. I just want to be very humble on that side of things.
I can see it. You're very competitive, but on top of the competitiveness and the sports side, you know how to handle yourself. You know how to communicate. You know how to do the boring stuff correctly. It's not boring. It's proper for people to be able to have these skills, but unfortunately, not everyone has them. But you combine them with your soccer and your competitiveness and always wanting to do the best, and that happens.
I think everything comes to have a good foundation. Like I said before, one of my big things, and I translate that as much as I could to the middle school soccer this year, was the character integrity that you have behind of it. If you don't have, it's going to be really hard to achieve good things. So I think the first principle comes from out there, and have a clear idea and a clear mind, then what you want to do, how you want to do it, and go out there and do it.
Just do it.
Yep. Middle school.
Your first game in the middle school was against Taft?
Yeah, at Taft.
Dude, Taft is a huge program. You want to talk about big programs?
That is a good one. Man, we ended up winning the game 3-1. My boys played like
3-1. You guys beat Taft?
Yeah, at Taft. That was huge. Yeah. That was back into the conversation you're having with the coach in the live streams. That was one of the questions. I was like, when was the moment that you saw that team was special? So that was my moment. I was like, wow.
Against Taft.
That was like, this team has something amazing. And then the day after, we played against Crossings and we lost 4-0.
No way.
First half, we stepped on the field like we are the best ones in the world. We just beat Taft, you know. Boom, 4-0 first half.
Damn.
Crazy. Never able to turn that game around.
Yeah, well, that's what you get out of middle school. You know,
Yep.
it's a little less consistent. But dude, you brought up Taft. You had the shout out to Eric. He's the athletic director. He has about 100 kids show up to try out for soccer at Taft.
Wow.
It's a big.
I saw their JV team. I don't know how many players out there when we played then. I think we won 2-1 with the JV in the late goal. But, dude, they have so many players on the JV team. So that's amazing to have that number, you know, to work with.
That's a school that's been open for almost 100 years, it seems like. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
So we spoke on your high school, your middle school, your college experience. I find it funny how you said that, you know, your goal has always been to coach. And how you had to put aside being a player to coach. But now I see you being the keeper at Certified Lions. So what changed?
Well, that's a good question. One amazing thing about Certified Lions is the trainings are a little bit late on the night. A lot of the times we train from 10 p.m. to midnight.
Oh, wow.
So that ended up working out with my schedule. That's why, especially for the last year, for the indoor season, I said, okay, I will commit. I can make that training, and that's one thing for me. If I can commit and give my full, I just not gonna commit, you know. So when talk with Wilson about it, I said, yeah, I want to give a try and see if I can make the team, you know, because I think I can make the schedule work out, and ended up being a great experience, man. I'm telling you, Lions are prepping something amazing up here in the city, and shout out to Wilson Navas. He's a great guy with a winner mindset, and he will turn the soccer or professional soccer here in Oklahoma a lot. So he'll shake things up. Like
he's already shaking things up. Shout out to Certified Lions. Shout out to him as well, because the way they're moving, I mean, energy. Take note, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Because he's doing it the right way.
Yeah, he is, and he's focusing on the local talent as much as possible, and he's achieving big things. The work out there is serious, you know. It's hard work.
Yeah.
The trainings are intense. Like you gotta be able to cope with the intensity, with the pressure, with everything that comes with the professional setting, you know. And I do think we had a great year, being the first year in M2, the second division on indoor soccer. And big things are coming, man.
I believe it.
The project's amazing.
To provide context for the people that don't know, Certified Lions is a professional indoor team, right?
Correct.
And correct me if I'm wrong with any of this, but they started off, was it MASL 3?
It was PSL, which is a different league, I believe, and then
Transition to
M3 and then M2 now.
Yeah, so there's two teams. There's
Correct.
the team that competes in the M3, and then the second division team with the M2, which you're right, they had a good year, this team, but it was kind of testing the waters, seeing how
100%.
it was. But you guys even got to go play down in Chihuahua, Mexico, which,
yes,
from what I'm understanding, is a really, really good club, boys, men and women.
So a little bit of context on Savage, on Chihuahua Savage. They won everything. They won the women's, they won M2, they won M1. And if they had the M3 team, I'm telling you, they were doing the M3 team as well. You know, it's just what they doing up there is amazing. So shout out to them as well.
Yeah. How was when I saw you guys traveling to Mexico, I was like, what's going on? Like, really? Yeah. What was that experience like? Because it looks so dope getting to see you guys just traveling, really getting the professional experience for all these players that had that passion. A lot of those people there have that passion, and for whatever reason their potential just didn't fill out like it's supposed to, and that's part of life sometimes.
Yeah, it is though. It is. It's just tough competition out there, and I mean it's amazing to be able to play against them. One weekend before we travel out there, we played against them at home, and it was a very, very tight game. We ended up losing 8-9. I got assist on that game on the last few seconds of the game. That was pretty awesome, you know. but we are not able to pull the win, and then traveling out there, playing a very small court. It was
and a
completely
different
animal.
turf.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
what's different about goalkeeping? I mean, there's obviously so many differences between keeping indoor and outdoor, but it is so hard.
Indoor is a different beast. Indoor is, for goalkeepers, I played futsal a lot back in Brazil, which helps me a lot up here playing indoor. But dude, it's nothing like it. On futsal, you miss a shot, the ball's going out.
Mm-hmm.
It's all good. Here, it's rebounds after rebounds after rebounds, and that ball doesn't go out, and everything is so fast and everything is so quick, and shots are so powerful.
From so close.
From so close, exactly. Oh, you have no idea how many concussions I got this season.
Oh, no way. Are you serious?
Yeah, it's just, on futsal, we, and shout out to my brother Ricky, our amazing coach, we had to change a little bit the way that I approach some of the techniques that I have from futsal. Like on futsal, you come out big and
wide.
you do
Cover
a lot
your
of
space.
Exactly, and you actually ended up doing a lot of saves with your head.
Damn.
But on indoor, it's a way more danger for some reason. It's I believe the reason is because the ball is always in, it's always bouncing.
And bouncing makes the kick come even harder, so it's just building momentum.
Yeah, so I got some crazy concussions in the beginning of the season. I remember one game, I played on it for a little bit, and then at the middle of the game, I was like, where I am at right now? Like, why we have so many people up here? And I was like, okay, with my coaching background, I noticed, like, okay, that's not right, so I just stopped the game and I asked for a sub, and I believe that was the best decision.
Yeah, dude. I guess that explains why there's how many keepers on your team? 2, 3?
Yeah, we started off actually with 6, and then we started having a lot of injuries as well, and I think we ended up with 3. Yeah.
Dang, that's a lot of sacrifice, as well as from the team. It's not easy to be able to practice from 10 to 12, so
correct.
It seems like there's a lot of sacrifice.
Wake
from all
up
around
at 5:30 and drive down to Piedmont. It's for sure a challenge.
Yeah, no, that's difficult, but I mean, keep going. It's working out. Next year, you guys are gonna be in a new home.
Exactly, everything's worth it. Having a baby, we figured out that sleep is not that much important.
Yeah, what is sleep? You know what I mean? That's why people who don't have kids complaining about being tired around people with kids, we don't want to hear it.
Yep, I figured out that you can live with a little bit of sleep, man. As crazy as that sounds, it's very important for your body, especially for recovery wise, but you can live with a little bit of sleep, so it's...
I don't miss those 5 months, man. It's crazy.
We're reaching out that phase now that she is sleeping for most of the nights, and most likely she doesn't wake up during the night, and if she does, it's only once. So, oh my God, that's me a bless.
Yeah, right. You're at that point now where if she's asleep for a little longer, you have to go make sure she's okay.
Yep. Yeah, I have done that a couple times.
Yeah, if she's breathing, she's breathing. She's good. Yeah, and it's funny how practices are from 10 at night to midnight. Perfect time. That's when we get our best work done. When everyone is asleep, 10 to 12 is prime time for
100%. Or very early in the morning, So I think for those 2 time frames are amazing. Or you started off your day with full intensity, or you finish off your day like in a good note,
Yeah. So we've covered a lot so far. Club coaching, WSA. You've been doing that for how long now?
Going for my 5th year.
5th year. So when you went into Piedmont was kind of whenever you started WSA. And WSA, you practice in Piedmont, so it's not at the WSA fields. But again, when I said your hands are in the cookie jar of Piedmont, you do the club there, have your hands in high school and in middle school. So
yeah, I really love the club side of things. It's different. Than other programs. The club side is more about the development, especially WSA. We focus so much on the development side of things on and off the field, not only on the skills, on the technique, on fundamentals, but make sure that off the field things are going right as well. Parents on the sidelines, and building that nice culture with the parents as well, which is not an easy task, and unfortunately it's not for everyone, But I believe on these 5 years in Piedmont or with WSA, we have been able to achieve a really good level. Every year, we're able to turn a team or two to go play regionally. Especially now, this past year, we have the NPL, the girls have the ACRL, so things are working out really well. And again, I believe that the foundation behind of it is the key. If we focus a lot on the younger ages, on the technical side of things, when they get into a older age, that's when they're gonna be able to go and compete because they have those fundamentals. It's really hard to get a player that is in high school, for example, and then now you have a lot of habits that you gotta change, and teaching them the right way is gonna take way longer. And a lot of those players, they don't have that time. They are their junior year, senior year, and then boom, their career is over. They're not gonna be able to make a college or something bigger than high school. So I think that's one of the main keys for WSA, aligns with my culture or my coaching philosophy, is just focus on the development side of things as much as you can, and then later on, the potential is gonna pay off.
It's funny how you mentioned that. A few weeks ago, I had Evan, the coach of the Oklahoma Christian girls team, and he also is the director of the I think it's the youth at Sporting, and he said you remind me of him because you get to do the college, you get to do a little bit of all levels of soccer, and he said, I think like this, like being able to coach college but also being able to work with the youth allows him to see the habits that these college players don't have, and then tries to implement them in the developmental side so that by the time they get there, those habits are already corrected. And 100%. I kind of heard that from what you were saying,
And I have been very fortunate this past 5 years up here. I was able to work on pretty much all the levels. Last year, I had a chance to work with Imps on the semi-pro level up here. And I would say what I love the most is on the development side of things. Like, we don't have to deal with the egos, and then you're able to teach them the right ways and the right techniques, and they're gonna be all buy in. Like,
you can make it fun.
Exactly. So that part of things I really love. I love the competitive side of things, or like win type of things. But for our community up here, I believe the best that I can give right now is to work on these early ages.
I feel like Patterson told me the same thing.
Yeah. Amazing. Great guy, by the way.
Yeah, shout out to Patch. Well, we've covered a lot. I think we've been here for almost an hour. I'm curious, you being a person that, sets your goals and achieves them, what are your current goals right now, if you don't mind me asking?
100%. Well, I love everything related to soccer. I would love to play for a little bit longer on the professional settings, but my family now is my priority. So for this next few years, I really want to focus on my baby, on our maybe next baby, and focus on that side of things a little bit more. Being on soccer or on the life of soccer, you always have to make those tough decisions, and sometimes you ended up putting your family down the side. So you have to go to the soccer game, you have that training session, and your family ended up down the side. So one of my main goals for this upcoming year and two is just focus a lot on my kid and my family, and then leave the soccer as much as I can. Keep working on the levels that I'm working right now. I love SNU, we're building something special up there. Hopefully we're able to have another great season coming up. Lions are being a great experience that I would love to keep going as much as my schedules can conciliate, and Piedmont again as well is one of my top priorities. On top of that, I have been prepping some really cool things on the goalkeeping side of things. I cannot share that yet, but maybe soon we're gonna have a big goalkeeping academy here in Oklahoma City. So let's keep that on that way.
Well, I love that you brought up goalkeeping, and it reminded me of the goalkeeper union that I was able to record and be a part of, which I thought was super cool and super dope and super essential. If anyone knows it, this. There's a lot of focus on teams, but not hardly any focus on the keeper side of it. So
And that is where I want to jump in, and I want to make an impact on the goalkeeping community. I do train a lot of goalkeepers right now with private lessons, small lessons, group lessons, club side of things. We just started off the WSA Goalkeeping Academy as well. So, but that is as a few things that I'm prepping for Oklahoma goalkeepings, and soon it's going to be out for everyone.
There's a gap. There's a hole. And it needs to get filled. And who better to do it than the guy that turns everything to gold?
I would love to. Appreciate that.
Yeah, no, and it was cool to see how all these goalkeeper coaches from different clubs, different associations came together to, be able to facilitate a camp like that for it. What was it, like 100 kids?
Yeah, we had about 100, yeah.
And the goalkeepers matter.
A lot.
Goalkeepers matter.
I mean, I'm a goalkeeper, so I'm kind of biased talking about it. But for me, goalkeeping is the best position on the field. If you have a good goalkeeper up there, you're going to have a chance to compete. Yeah. If you don't, and any shot can get in, you're always running uphill. So it doesn't matter how good your team are, you're going to end up conceding shots to the goal. So if your goalkeeper is not able to hang there and keep your team on the game, it's going to be really hard for you to compete. So goalkeeping, in my opinion, is the most important position on the field. So I have a few things that I want to do for the Goalkeeping Academy and change a little bit of the culture again up here. Focus on the fundamentals, focus on the skills from early ages, and then build them up to success later on.
Why did you become a goalie?
Oof. I don't know how to answer that question.
No, really?
I don't. I was throwing goal one day, and because we need a goalkeeper, and you're very tall, so I think you can do it.
How old were you?
I was very young. I would say like about 7 or 8.
No way.
And then I just like it. Say, oh, that's pretty cool. Everyone wants to score, and I'm stopping it. So I'm going against the rules up here, or against the goal of the game.
You have to be different to be a goalie.
You have to. It's a different thing that you gotta have. You gotta be very brave to put your face on the line. Your body on the line more than any other player on the field, and you gotta be able to deal with the pressure of failure, because if you fail, it's most likely to be a goal. You're not going to have someone behind you that's going to help you out.
It's not like the forward who can miss all day, score one, and be called the hero, while the keeper blocks all day, gets scored once, and could be the villain.
100%. So keeping or coping with that, it's not an easy thing, and a lot of kids struggle with it, and that's one of the main reasons the kids ended up not playing as goalkeeper anymore, because, wow, I'm the villain. And I don't want to be like that, and they can't cope with the pressure, or ended up with some mental health issues and all that. So you got to have a very strong mindset to be there, and one of my goals, once again, is help those kids to become stronger mentally, to be able to cope with it,
Nice. One other thing, I keep thinking of things as we come close to the end. You haven't been in Oklahoma City for that long, but you sure have immersed yourself in the culture of soccer here in the city. But the one place that surprises me was how immersed you were in the Sunday League culture here.
Love it.
When a team sees a good goalie, they'll grab him and hang on to him as long as they can. And I've seen you play for some pretty good teams here at Western and at Indoor. Can you talk a little bit about what that culture and what's that been like? Because you're one of us now on the field.
I'll be completely transparent with you, man. I love Western.
Yeah.
I grew up in a very similar environment back home. And every day or every Sunday that I'm there, I feel like I am at home. I don't feel like I am on the other side of the ocean, know?
Yeah.
So I just love it. I don't know how to explain it. So I wish the fields would be better out there, especially for goalkeepers. It's really tough,
Especially when it rains.
Exactly. Or when it's very dry.
Yeah, but everyone plays on the same field, so it's like,
Yeah, but again, I love that. I love the culture. I love to be around. So it has had quite a few months that I've not been there with all the Alliance things going on. So I have not been there, but hopefully some close I can be there and just enjoy a little bit with my friends. Just be on sidelines, maybe watch them play or things. Let's see how things gonna go out there.
Yeah, that place is special for me too, because I would always go see my dad play. And then
Oh, that's
eventually I got to
amazing.
play with my dad and his
Oh,
brother and my brothers.
dude.
So we had like a little family team. And like you said, it's similar to how it is in Brazil. So you
Mhm.
probably know exactly what I'm talking about.
100%. And as we talking about Oklahoma, I mean, I just love Oklahoma City.
Mhm.
Again, I just found my place up here, and I want to stay here for forever if it's possible, or as much as I can, or as much as my family can. We're gonna stay here for a long time. That's the goal.
It's great here. Oklahoma City is like a big city, but it's small. But it's still growing in such a way that like there's so much that needs to be done, and you know exactly what I mean.
Yep.
It's a city, but there's still so much potential for
And
soccer.
let me tell you, on soccer side of things, that has been changed as crazy on these past 5 years. For the next 5 years, is gonna be 3, 4, 5 times more. So the soccer side of things up here is just exploding right now, and I want to be part of that.
Nice. Me too. Me too. That's what we're doing this. That's why we got the Football Factory going, and
shout out to you guys for that, because I believe you're achieving so many people that you have no idea about it. You touching so many souls on the other side of the screen, especially when they seeing or hearing and watching you guys with all the coverage you guys do. So, man, keep going with that work, because that changes a lot. Especially for the younger kids, we spoke a lot about middle school and high school. They are all about that. They see something out there, or their community out there, or themselves out there. So it's a huge thing. So please keep doing that, man.
For sure. I appreciate it, man. And, being able to make the connections like this makes it easier. Does the middle school team have an Instagram page?
We do not.
Not yet.
We do not yet. Yeah. Maybe something that we need to think about it.
What are your thoughts on teams having Instagram pages? Like, it's a different facet, it might not be necessary, or is it necessary? What do you think?
I'm not a big social media guy, so I'm kind of behind on that type of stuff. But we do have one big social media for the whole program, men's and women's, in high school and middle school. And I think everything we do, we kind of put on that channel, and I think that works out really well. I don't want that being a distraction for the boys. It can be, easily can be. So we try to keep things simple on that side of things.
They can wait till they make it to high school.
Exactly. So it's important when they are getting to recruitable ages, where they need to be posting stuff out of their plays, of their goals, of their defensive work, saves, whatever. But for the middle school, maybe a little bit too early for that,
That makes sense.
That's my thoughts on it.
It makes sense. Very valid. Very valid. Before you got here, Garrett was asking me, what does Bruno do? Like, what's his job? And I said, I think it's just soccer. Like, majority of these Brazilians that we envy, like Bampa and Rafa and all this, I think he does just soccer. Am I right? Is that all you do?
100% right. I have 4 club teams, SNU, Piedmont Middle School, goalkeeping, private lessons, a lot of things. It's just soccer is my life, and I'm very blessed to be able to only work with it.
That's crazy. Did you expect it to be like this when you were originally making that decision to jump to the U.S. with your wife?
Nope.
Not at all?
Not at all. Yeah, like I said, my plan was always work as coaching, but never thought it would be as much as I'm doing right now. So I'm very blessed for the opportunities that I have.
In such a short amount of time. And it makes me excited to see what the next 5 years might be like for Bruno.
Yep. Yeah, this past year was very challenging on me. I'll share something, but I have a very good offer to leave Oklahoma for a D1, and also to be a goalkeeping director in another school, in another city. And dude, at the end of the day, I just look to Oklahoma, and I'm grateful for everything that I have here, and I see so much potential coming up for the next few years that I don't want to leave. I want to be here and be part of it. I'm happy up here, and like I said, family is a big thing for me, and I'll keep focusing on it more than few other things.
Yeah, that's a hard decision to make.
It is. It was.
A lot of people want to coach, but whenever you are, from what I'm seeing and learning, when you're wanting to advance, at the start there isn't really much picking and choosing. You just have to get the opportunities that come to you. The last guest that's going to come on here on Thursday, the episode that's going to come out, his story was similar to where he knew he wanted to coach. So a position came to go coach in Texas. And so he's single, he can do that. So he left to Texas. And then he came back because a high school here, his high school, he came back and then he coached here. And then he got asked to be an assistant. and then he got asked to go coach at Panhandle State University.
Wow.
And I'm like, dude, me as a person with 3 kids, I'm like, I could never.
Exactly.
I could never. So
that's what I think a lot about that type of stuff. You know, like if you actually want to go to a high level like college or professionally, I think for goalkeeper coaches especially, there is a lot of opportunities to go out and be on professional teams, you know. But the problem with that is I'm going to be 1 year here, and then next year I might have to move to a different state, you know. And I'm that phase of my life that's not much exactly. That's not the big thing.
You're trying to set your roots now.
Yeah. And I'm not gonna call a mistake, but a lot of coaches they look to the money side of things, and that's why they make those decisions to move here and there, or the money, or the status, or the
stack
position.
the resume.
Exactly. I'm not so much worried about that type of things. I mean, I come from a family that did not have much back in Brazil, and then I'm able to provide for my family up here, living out of soccer. It's amazing, and just keep going, just keep doing my work, and I know the money side of things will come with it as you work, as you do a good work, you know. So that's kind of my plan, and that's why I want to stay up here. I'm pretty happy in Oklahoma, and let's see how things are going to play out.
Good. I think you made the right decision.
Appreciate it.
You know,
Yeah.
I talked to my sister-in-law, and Michael's first experience with the club was with you, and they have nothing but great things to say about their experience with Coach Bruno. So
I love that dude. He's improved so much, like we spoke before, and he has so much to accomplish. You know, just gotta keep going, keep driving.
Gotta keep driving. Well, I appreciate you again for coming on, sharing your story. The podcast is always here for you if you ever want to share some news, or if you ever have anything new that you're going to be doing. You know, you can come here and share that. You're always more than welcome to come by.
Amazing. And I would love to offer myself as well. I know you guys do a lot of sessions over the summer, and if I can come by one day, just work a little bit with your goalkeepers, maybe I'm here.
Yeah, it's a good time for me to say we're going to be out there at 6 in the this summer. So Sunrise Soccer is going to start in June, and we'll be doing it again. I think this is our 8th year doing the free Sunrise Soccer session. So.
Amazing. Keep doing it, man. These kids need it, and they can learn so much from soccer to their lives. So if I can help in a way, I'm here.
Nice. Well, I appreciate you again, and for the people that have listened to this point, I appreciate you guys for making it here. If we learned anything in this podcast, is that anything Bruno touches turns to gold. So stay on the lookout for Coach Bruno. He's planning and scheming some things for our goalkeepers here in Oklahoma City. Bruno, thank you again for your time, man.
Appreciate your time. Appreciate everyone out there. See ya.
Peace.
Peace.